So I had a comment. It's been a while since I fielded all the comments on YouTube.
Yep.
Is my mic a little better? Is it not as crispy now?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
And someone was like, 12 minutes in and no topic. Like, I feel like all podcasts are like this, right? Dihydrogen monoxide. You are correct.
You're okay. Thank you. And also, yeah, thank you, Philip, 40 Watt Podcast.
H2O, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And Zach, screw you for doubting me.
I doubt everything. That's how I've ended up in the place I'm at.
I know. Yeah, this is how podcasts go. If you don't like it, you know, you don't have to watch or listen, or better yet, we even are now putting in the descriptions of the videos when the topic starts.
I've had that for like a while.
But here's the thing, Zach, people don't read and people don't pay attention and they don't listen. Do you know how many times I've gotten comments on my videos of something that I addressed in the video? Somebody's asking like, what pedal is he using? And it's the pedal that I'm talking about in the
title of the video.
Yeah, it's the title of the video, or I very clearly stated it in the video. People don't listen.
Man, so I released the 1347 Fuzz.
Yep, congratulations.
Thank you. And it did well and people like it. And I made a new video, a video demo, and it was kind of inspired by the old ZVEX videos where it's just the pedal. It was me talking.
Yep.
And I was like, I like this. This is good. I think this is how I'm going to do it. And one of the first videos I'm going to get to after all the new art shows up is explaining all the differences and stuff, because I feel those are the questions I feel the most. What's the difference with the Mjolnir? What's the difference with the Golden Fleece? And just a Mythos FAQ, because
there you go.
Damn.
Because damn. Oh, shout out to the Patreon chat and Raymond Forbes. What was Rhett saying? I missed it. Well, you can go back and listen. And then VT Jumper says, also we should get off Rhett's lawn.
That's right.
You're right. Damn right. Yeah, I saw someone complain one time about us being too. What was the term they used? They stopped listening because we're too. Oh, it was a really good adjective, and I'm spacing on it now. Belligerent, maybe? I can't remember what it was.
Belligerent?
Yeah, it was like something that I felt was a bit inaccurate, if I'm honest. But look, this is an opinion show, and Zach and I are two very opinionated guys, and I share my opinions here. I share my opinions on the main YouTube channel, but I think I'm a little looser around here because generally on the YouTube channel, I try and keep things uplifting, educational, informative, and if I do share an opinion, I try and back it up with a counterpoint. But here it's a little more hot take.
I don't mind belligerent. I think like anybody that knows me. Like this is me, but this is me dialed back to like 7 or 8. Oh yeah. And when you are around me at like 10 and hear the things I say and like expressing my full opinion, it's it's a lot. But that's everybody.
That's everybody though. And if you act like you're not that way, I think you're full of it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. You know, people temper their opinions and points of view, and you know, it just is what it is. But you know.
Anyway, how was your week? Tell us about.
Oh, let's see. Week's been okay. Been fighting an issue with the truck with the FJ. Yeah, cold air intake is causing some engine codes and all that stuff, but you guys don't care about that. Got some new gear. Let me tell you something. The month of March is shaping up to be quite a month for releases in the guitar space. I now know of four that I've been personally reached out to by these companies, major releases that are coming out. Some of them I'm going to do videos about, others I'm not so sure. But yeah, March is shaping up to be quite the month.
Well, that's the NAMM joke, right? Like, when's it released? Sometime in March.
Yeah, sometime in March.
So, and we didn't have NAMM.
No.
Well, normal winter NAMM. So now, cool. I'm excited. I know some things. We did see that Line 6 released a new amp today, or well, they announced it. Yep. And when I first saw it, I was like, what's that Boss Katana doing in this Line 6 ad? But it sounds great. It sounds really good.
I actually haven't heard it. So that's one of two I've already started. Yeah, it's one of 2 Line 6 drops that are coming. And actually, this episode's going to come out wait, what's the date? So
Today's the 16th. So
we're doing Monday uploads, right?
Yeah. So Monday we'll have one coming Monday, and then this will be next Monday.
Okay, so this will be the 28th. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. All right. So
don't tell the chat because we can't.
No, I'm not going to tell the chat because I'm technically, I think, under NDA with Line 6. I should find out because that's kind of an important thing to know if I've like signed a contract. So if you're watching this on Monday the 28th, I believe Wednesday the 2nd is going to be a big day for Line 6.
Sweet.
And then there's some other stuff from some other people that are happening. So
yeah. Cool. Well, that's great.
How was your week?
It was fine. I think I got this. I can't remember when I got this, but I traded some stuff. I've been going on a bit of a bender or tear. I don't know. I've been getting a lot of shit. So
cool.
I got this. I got a Jazzmaster finally.
Yeah.
This is the Classic Player.
Yep.
Which is, you can tell because the bridge is closer. The tremolo is closer to the. You see something? Is there a fly in there?
Well, no, because I've got the not the Ventera Jazzmaster, but my Jazzmaster has the same. I was looking at it after you got that. It's got the same bridge setup.
Right. So yeah, the bridge, the tremolo system is closer to the bridge, and it has like a Tunematic style thing. Mm-hmm. And so I traded a guitar for this, and gonna get some. These are like P90s, and it's way too like. It doesn't sound like a Jazzmaster at all. So got some pickups coming from a very small builder out in California. And once I get them, we can talk about them. And I'll rewire it because these pots are shot. But the guy, all the literature online, people are like, yeah, it's kind of, it rattles and like it's noisy and stuff. But this dude, it doesn't knock that bad, which normally these are knocking pretty bad.
Right.
And the bridge, he just like filled it with some sort of like, I don't know if it's like Big Ben's nut sauce or something. It's
probably
just
a bunch of WD-40.
No, it's like a gel. There's some sort of
in the bridge.
Yeah, like around the screws, because apparently the screws on these rattle really bad.
Oh.
VT Jumper in the chat said, why aren't you using your own pickups? Because I haven't successfully made a humbucker yet, and I don't want to start buying all the flat work to make a Jazzmaster pickup until I figure the rest of it out. But a really cool guitar. And I just literally noticed, and this is a good PSA for all our, I guess everybody be a guitar playing friend, little fret sprout, because it's dry as hell in my shop.
Yeah, my poor Solus here, the frets are sprouting.
Yeah,
and the neck is so bowed that it's almost like unplayable, because we talked about this the other day, but the humidity in my house, I have 2 humidifiers in this room going right now just to maintain about 40% humidity. They're both going full blast. I believe the humidity in my house over the last 3 weeks or so has been about between 0 and 5%. With the heater going upstairs, like this room is brutal on guitars. So I'm hoping whenever the basement studio is done, it'll be more stable than this room. But yeah,
and I mean, like, just so people know, like that's something that happens if your guitar, like the change of seasons, it starts playing bad. Probably just needs a truss rod tweak. But fret sprout, I mean, that my TCS had that happen. This guitar was perfect, and now it needs some loving. So usually I do it. Myself, I have like a little Stumac, it's a fret eraser thing, and it's just like a really fine grit sandpaper, and it looks like a rubber eraser. And I'll just run it along the. You can't see what I'm doing. Just run it along the edge. Just go, up and down. Just rub it along the side of the fret, and that usually takes off what little edge there is because it's very minor. But fun guitar. So.
The humidifiers have helped a little bit because, like last week, dude, that guitar it almost would cut your finger running down the fretboard.
Yeah,
cool guitar though. I like the Jazzmaster tremolo being closer to the bridge. I think it alleviates a core issue that the Jazzmasters have, like the original Jazzmaster design has, which is, that really shallow breakover angle from the tremolo over the bridge. I mean, if you strum it hard enough, you can pull those strings off the saddles on some of those old Jazzmasters.
Yeah, and that's the thing that like everybody, Mike Adams, Pusheen, you know, he talks about you'd have to, you know, like reset the neck angle. So it's all like, because the originals were shimmed and stuff. And I get that. And I know that's part of the charm of those instruments. But to me, it's like, if it works and it sounds good and plays good, and this thing does, the only thing that's weird is that bridge is a 12-inch radius bridge. And the guitar is a 9.5-inch radius fingerboard.
Ooh, that's weird.
You know, just slot the saddles deeper. I don't care. Like, as long as it's in tune and it doesn't sound bad, I don't care. So
who cares, man?
That's right.
Not me. Not me.
Me neither.
Me neither, man. Ask me if I give a damn. No. Hell. All right. Shall we dip a rig?
Yeah. Here it is.
I love this new. Whoa.
Zap. All right.
Damn.
So here we go. This is from James Santos. And he said he's been a Dipped in Tone subscriber, so thank you. And this is his first time submitting his rig for dipping. He plays mostly blues, rock, R&B, and funk, mainly bedroom these days, but when time permits, he does cover and session work. And his rig is designed to work across different genres. He's got a 65 Bassman head, a vintage one, with a custom-made closed-back cab with two EV12S 200-watt speakers. Woo!
Okay.
2017 Fender Professional Telly with Lawler Special T, Vintage T pickups, and pedal board is pretty sick. So he's got an exotic wah, SP compressor, a high road, Mythos high road, Mythos Argonaut, Greer Lightspeed, Cornerstone Gladio, Goodwood Audio underfacer, which is a buffer underneath the Mythos pedals.
Yep.
An HX Stomp, Disaster Area microcontroller.
Yeah.
Loopy expression pedal thing, and then yep, that's pretty much it.
Wow. Okay, so as is tradition, and a pretty sick hi-fi system in the background, we should point out.
Yeah, look
listening.
at that.
Look at that. I don't know much about hi-fi, but that looks like it sounds good. So
can I drop this in the chat?
Yeah, do it. Take me there, or take them there. Okay, so starting off with the guitar, a nice, just a nice straight ahead telly. You know,
that's great.
Nothing real fancy there. Gets the job done. What kind of pickups were in that? Did he say?
It's Lawler Special T's. So just classic.
Man, yeah, I built a parts caster years ago that I still have. That has special T's in it, and they are phenomenal. Really good pickups.
Have we talked about when you moved and how many guitars you sent me, like a Marco Polo, and just the insanity of all the guitar cases like you and stuff you have? Like you keep on mentioning these guitars, like I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I have more cases than I have guitars.
Sure.
And yeah, I just have a bunch of stuff that honestly I need to do. I saw Music as Wind posted a couple weeks ago that he like traded in 8 guitars and went and got a custom shop Jazzmaster. And I probably should do something similar where I just, you know, I just take the ones I haven't played and just take them into Guitar Center and just say, hey, you know, there's actually a pretty cool, at my local shop right now, there's, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get back to the rig here. All right. 65 Bassman. Is it modded or is it stock?
He didn't say anything about a mod.
So we'll assume that it's stock.
Yeah.
Killer amp.
Great amp.
Yeah, really
amazing,
really great.
Amazing amp.
Yeah, man. And then I'm intrigued by the speaker choice in the cabinet, I must say.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, like, you know, that amp is not that loud. A vintage Bassman head like that is probably only like 35-ish watts. So to keep it as clean as possible, you get a loud EV speaker, and you just got clean.
I mean, that's a loud speaker, and there's 2 of them in there. I mean, tons of headroom. So I'm guessing he's not setting up the Bassman, you know, as for like an edge of breakup kind of tone. Yeah, which they do really well. Like,
oh, yeah, they sound great.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. They've gotten expensive over the last couple of years too. Man,
they have. You know, it's funny because I had thought about getting one. And I remember, they're like $500, $600 even for a black panel. And now they're like double that, which is like, it's still a good deal. Right. But it's, I don't know, when it's just one of those things of getting older and you see stuff and you're like, that's too much money. I'm not going to spend that.
That's no way I'm spending that much money for a Bassman. Oh my God. Yeah. but that's why we're not investors and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just crypto.
And God. Yeah. Now announcing dipped in tone NFTs.
Oh, hey.
For those who, no, absolutely not.
Why not?
Why not? Because it's dumb. That's why.
How about we get it and then donate the money to something good?
Like my savings account or my mortgage,
the People's Fund.
Yeah, the Rhett's house, one. Sorry, I just unplugged my headphones there. Okay, so the thing about these basements too is finding one that has been unmolested, unmodded. It's somewhat difficult. It's sort of like you know what it's like. Follow my logic here. It's like the. Let me find a good example. It's like the 90s Subaru WRX. If you can find a good one that hasn't been modded and clapped out by 7 different owners, that it's really good.
Yeah.
That's like finding a diamond in the rough. A lot of these old basements are the same way. They've been modded. They've had stuff changed on them, and because they've been so cheap for so long, people just bought them and did all kinds of crap with them. And so now that they're getting more expensive, the good ones, the unmodified ones, are that much more worth it.
Yeah. The only thing that I would mod on a basement is I believe they're only a 4 ohm out.
Right.
So a different output transformer would be helpful, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really need anything. The only mod I've seen people do that's kind of cool is you take that bass channel and change it up. So you have the normal channel for your guitar, and instead of having that super dark, you can like make that into like a higher gain or some different voicing, which would be neat. Right.
Pedal board, super
great,
clean. Yeah, really nice size. What is it? The Metro
20?
Metro 20. That's such a great size of board,
yeah.
Flat board. And I mean, honestly, you could do just about anything for at least the style of music he's talking about. The blues, rock, funk, cover thing, session thing. Like, this is the quintessential rig. Obviously, bonus point for the light speed. The Gladio, I've actually really enjoyed my Gladio over the past couple of weeks. I've been playing with it a lot.
Still never played one.
It's cool. It does that dumble in a box thing.
Right.
It's a little different than like the Vertex dumble in a box. But it's good, man. I mean, if in front of an amp like that, if he's running that clean, I'm sure it sounds very dumbly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I bet it sounds great. It's just one of those pedals. I talk to Emilio all the time, like on Instagram, but I don't think he's ever tried a Mythos pedal, and I've never tried a Cornerstone pedal. It's just one of those things. It's like Jesse Davey. I just finally got the Duelist, and we've spoken for a while and never.
Oh, by the way, speaking of, congratulations on the pizza pedal release, because I know you had a hand in that.
Oh yes, yeah, the Big Ear Tone Mob pizza pedal. I designed the circuit board, and did. I made it have a sound. So. And it's super fun. Grant has me one, and I was gonna get it and like post about it, like with my own photo, but I didn't get a chance to get over there. Yeah, but yeah, it's we could talk about that more later too if we want to.
Yeah. Mythos pedals, the high road, self shill.
Yep.
Nice use of space here with the 3 mini pedals. I like that. Maximizing the space, and then of course the HX Stomp. I mean, that can be anything you want it to be. It can be its own rig. It can be a pedal board. It can be just time-based effects. It could be overdrives. It could be a cab sim, whatever you want.
Maybe that's why he's going with such a loud cleat speaker pair.
Oh, right. And something like the Bassman, because he could essentially be almost using it just like a power amp.
Yeah.
Because
if you keep it low, it's pretty clean.
Pretty clean. Pretty anemic is not the right word, but transparent, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Flat, maybe.
Flat. Yeah, flat.
Although
response.
I'm looking at the knobs, and that's not, this is never indicative, but it looks like, they're all just turned down. Okay, I was like, man, he's got his treble on one, and his bass on one, his volume's on one.
No, this is a great rig. This is a really, really great rig. Ticks all the boxes for me. The only thing I'd like to see different here is a humbucker guitar.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a 335 style guitar would be nice here, or obviously, the obvious choice is a Lester Paulfus, but I think something like a 335 would be a little bit more, add a little more character. I'm going to give this 9.0 Shills.
Dang. That's awesome. I agree. I think having some sort of hollow, semi-hollow to add with that telly would be a great pair. I would probably go with a different speaker thing. I mean, it depends on how I was using it, but I like a little bit more character from my speaker, and
yeah,
the loud, clean thing. It's just not like, I don't know. I would rather run the HX Stomp into a lower wattage amp that's doing a thing, even if I was using like the amp preamps as like overdrives or
which
pedals.
is a fun trick you can do with that Stomp. You can essentially use the amp models, the amp blocks, but with no cab, and essentially use it like a preamp style overdrive, which is cool.
Yeah, I think I want to give it an 8.7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Pretty close.
Yeah, super close. Huh? Impressive. Just a few weeks ago, we were as far apart as we've ever been.
That's right. You know what's funny? When we did that last episode, we made a joke in the beginning about when we were recording and then when we were get it posted, and we were off by a day.
I heard that. Yeah, I noticed. I was listening back to the episode. I was like, oh damn, we were super close there. That's great. Nice. Okay, so we have a topic today. My freaking microphone arm will not stay put. There we go. A little better. So we have a topic today. Now, we're going to dive into the deep end of the pool here with this, the Tonewood debate. There's been a new post, a new video that has somewhat shaken the world of the age-old debate of Tonewood. Does wood affect the sound of an electric guitar? We're not talking about acoustics. We're not talking about hollow bodies. We're talking about solid body electric guitars. Does the wood and the construction affect the tone? So a gentleman by the name of Jim Lill posts a video last week. So when you guys are hearing this, it's about 3 weeks old, probably at this point. It'll probably be coming up on 1 million views at this point. So congratulations to Jim. That's killer. I've been following him for a while. I believe he's a Nashville guy, country guitar player, great player. And if you haven't seen the video, essentially he goes through and does one of the most comprehensive Mythbusters style breakdowns of this Tonewood debate, where he's using his Tom Anderson Telly as a control that's loaded with I believe a Seymour Duncan. I can't remember the model of the pickup, the bridge pickup that he's using.
Pull it up.
And he starts the video, basically he buys a kit Telly, like an unfinished kit guitar, puts it together, and then compares the two, and of course they sound completely different. And then he takes and puts the same Seymour Duncan in the bridge, and he's just comparing the bridge pickups for this video. And just that one change got them much, much closer. Not identical, didn't sound the same, but much closer.
Right.
And then what was the next thing he did? The 2x4. He went and got a 2x4 out of his shed and crafted a 2x4 guitar with the Telly bridge, with the electronics, with the neck, and the same pickup, and it was pretty damn close to the Tom Anderson. Like, it was over YouTube, and I listened with headphones on. So did you. I mean, yeah, it was up there.
Right. Yeah. But then what did he do?
But then the how do you say it? I don't speak French. The pièce de résistance or whatever.
That's right.
Pièce de résistance was the Workbench guitar. Now, it's the thumbnail of the video. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, just go look at the thumbnail and you'll see what I'm talking about. But he took 2 workbenches and spread them out 25.5 inches, so the scale length of a Fender guitar. And on one workbench, he mounted the Telly bridge with the pickup and the Telly electronics, and then he strung the 6 strings across the gap to the other workbench, where he had a sort of fashioned headstock, 6-in-line headstock, and essentially played a non-existent guitar, a guitar that is not made of any wood whatsoever, and compared it to the Tom Anderson, and it's pretty close.
Yep. Over YouTube. And with his, I mean, honestly, I didn't find any of the mic'd guitar sounds I didn't find any of the recorded guitar sounds all that good.
They weren't. They wasn't like they weren't great. But again, I don't think that's necessarily the point of the video. And again, we should point out that this is, Jim, if you're watching this, great job on the video. I thought it was very well done and very thorough, and it sparked a lot of interesting conversations online, including this one. So yeah, I mean, I agree though. I think the initial tone wasn't all that stunning to begin with, but again, this is just classic experiment. You're taking a control, which is a Tom Anderson, arguably great instrument, and then
they're fine. I don't know.
I played a few Tom Andersons and I thought they were really good. Much better than a piece of 2x4, I would say.
I don't know. Depends on your piece of pine, I guess.
All right. So what do you think about this? What has this changed your mind? First of all, tell me what's your point of view about the Tonewood debate pre this video?
I think it 100% matters because here's, I mean, I learned about it working at Carter. I mean, I'd always thought, drink, by the way. I'd always, believed in that. I'd always believed that the wood totally matters. I mean, why go through the trouble? Why waste the time? Is it just to market and steal from people? I didn't think so. But I would go to the Gibson custom shop, either myself, I went a few times, or other guys would go, and we'd drive over there, and we'd come back with a car full of Les Pauls. They'd just be in the big cardboard boxes. We'd load it up in our cars, and we'd open them up, and they would be like within 1 or 2 serial numbers apart. Same finish, same setup,
same pickups.
Technically the same pickup. Who knows if the outputs were the same? But the first thing we would do is we'd open them all up, and we'd tune them, and then we'd play them unplugged. And we'd go, that's the one. Why is that the one? And it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be up for debate. It would be unanimous with all the guys in the shop. Like, that one's got something special. So something else is going on to give that guitar its character, because ultimately a guitar is not a pickup.
Right.
A guitar is the sum of its parts. And when you take a good pickup like a Duncan and record it and use, I mean, a 57 on like an orange cab, which probably has like a vintage 30 or something in it, and run it through whatever in the computer, arguably it's probably going to sound the same. There's not that much information there. So I think while it is interesting, it is not a guitar. And and even the 2x4 thing like that. I mean, like a Devo had like a bass that looked like a 2x4 and, Les Paul's log, but guitars are the sum of their parts. And I've experienced too many times where I've opened things from a factory or from a company and A-B'd them and they're miles apart.
Same. I've had the exact same experience.
Yeah.
Where you're whether you're shopping for something or just trying stuff out. I've done it for videos in the past, where you're comparing things, and you can take 2 of the same model from the same builder and play them unplugged, no rig, and they sound different. They feel different. Now, is that going to be noticed on, a YouTube video or to someone listening to a record where that guitar was used? Probably not, but it does make a difference to the player. And I agree with you that a guitar is an instrument. It is a tool for a job. Okay. And it is the sum of its parts. A guitar body and neck is not there for the sole purpose of holding, the strings and the pickup and the right orientation to produce a sound. And the thing about this video is I went and read the comments, which was treacherous. But what I saw was a lot of people, there's a lot of just confirmation bias happening where it was just a lot of sort of vindication of people saying, yes, I've been saying this for years. Finally, there's proof, wood doesn't matter. It's never mattered. People have been shouting me down for years. Well, just a lot of that kind of stuff. Finally, I'm right. And I wouldn't hold this video up as like the end all be all, nail in the coffin for this debate. I don't think this debate will ever end. I think it was a well done video. I think it was very intriguing, and I think the results were interesting, but I think there's plenty of variables there that weren't accounted for in Jim's video. And this is not in any way a dig toward Jim. Again, I think he did a fantastic job, but you can hear differences in guitars based off of how an amp is set, or what type of amp you're playing, or what type of speaker you're playing, right? Where is the speaker mic'd up? How is it mic'd up? Those all cause differences, and it can accentuate differences in the guitars themselves. So let's say one guitar has more high end, for example, it's more top end, it's brighter in response. Let's just say you happen to mic the speaker further away from the dust cap where the speaker's response is darker. Or let's say you're running an amp that doesn't have a particularly great response in the top end. Well, then you're not going to hear as much of the difference in the top end of the guitars as you would. Also, in Jim's video, his tone was relatively overdriven. There was quite a bit of amp saturation going on, which is fine, but there's a lot of harmonics and overtones and stuff that are being added there from the rig, from the guitar, or sorry, from the amp, and not necessarily the guitar itself. Yeah. So I do think it wasn't a perfect experiment, and that was the thing that I noticed was people were using it as like a way to justify a belief that they've held, rather than coming at it from an open perspective and saying, well, does it matter? And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I mean, there's so many things that are out of your control that affect the way things sound. I mean, just the wall voltage, if like, you know, that can affect your amp and how it sounds. Those things matter. Now, I think that's pretty extreme, but it's an interesting topic. But when you're doing an experiment or a study, you know, to really get any, like, okay, we go back to my college experience. I had to do a thesis, which was weird for a bachelor's degree. And I had to do a couple experiments, and, you know, I had to get it board approved, like go through all the right channels, make sure it was legal to ask the questions that I asked, you know? And the one thing that we learned about the type of studies that we do in psych, or at least one of the ways to measure it, is called an analysis of variance, an ANOVA. And you have to question or study at least 30 people to really get any sort of bell curve to find not proof, but significance one way or the other. So like it's such a small way to test this, to get some sort of opinion. But what we're seeing here is more of a correlation and not causation, which it's totally interesting. But there are many things that correlate that have nothing to do with one another. Kids with bigger feet are smarter than kids who have smaller feet. Why? Probably because the kids with bigger feet are older. You know, those are the things that you have to like think about, that so often gets masked by the fun of correlation, especially in instances like this. Right.
Yeah. And so that's I think kind of where I'm coming from too, which is like when I first watched the video, and the real crux of the video is at the end, where it's like he's playing the air guitar, as he calls it, and compares it to his Tom Anderson. And for all intents and purposes, you know, it sounds basically the same. And so essentially the conclusion that you could draw from that is like, well, obviously wood doesn't matter because there's no wood in this guitar and they sound the same. But maybe, and it was a really interesting experiment. It shifted here's what it did for me. I was one of those people that in the order of rank, in terms of significance of impact on tone of a solid body electric guitar, I would have listed it the following: pickups, string gauge and material, then wood, and then body construction, and then like electronics and things like that. And what it sort of did was rearrange the things, where for me, obviously pickups are still the most important part of the sound and have the biggest impact. I would still have strings as number 2, your gauge and the makeup of the string, the alloy the string's made of. But I would probably flip electronics and then wood, right? because in his video, one thing he didn't account for at the beginning was in one of his experiments, he noticed the difference because one of the, I think it was the kit guitar, the pickup was wired directly to the output, whereas the Anderson was going through electronics, and that was accounting for a pretty significant difference in sound.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Right. And in fact, actually, to add one more element to that, right under pickup height, in between pickup and string, I would put pickup height. Right.
Yeah.
That's huge. And so many people, it's happened to me where I'm not necessarily liking the way a pickup sounds. And I just think, oh man, I gotta buy a different set of pickups for this guitar. But you tweak something, you raise or lower the pickup one way or another, and it completely shifts just the output of the guitar, how hard it's hitting the amp, the overall EQ curve that's coming out of the guitar, the response of the guitar, just from raising, lowering your pickups. But I do still think the Tonewood matters. I think the weight of the guitar matters. I think that how long the guitar, how much of the guitar vibrates when you play a chord, and how much energy is being dissipated from the string into the wood. I think that matters. It has an effect. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is how it makes you feel when you play it. I like lightweight guitars. I like guitars that vibrate a lot when I play them, that are resonant, that are loud, like you said. And you could pick the guitar out in the lineup with no rig. You just heard it and you said, that's the one. And then you plug it up, and sure enough, it sounds the best out of all the guitars. Yeah.
And to add to your list of variables, I do think bridge and nut, anywhere a string touches and vibration is transferred into the guitar, they do have especially bridge has an impact on the sound and the vibe of the guitar. Because like for me, when I think about pickups, I don't think about necessarily like the output all the time. I mean, I have I have things I like, but I like to hear the guitar by itself. Like, okay. And I don't know how well this will come across with this gate on, but whatever this guitar sounds like unplugged, I like to listen to it and then match pickups according to that. Because, I mean, guitars have treble characteristics. They have low-end characteristics, and you kind of have to find a balance. But I do think pickups tend to trump all things as far as, like, the voice or the sound of a guitar.
Yeah.
But like, with electronics, like Jacob, visual guy in the chat, was saying, the resistance to the pot being, if it's a 220K or a 270K pot, is going to change your perception of the high end of the instrument once it's amplified. I mean, those minor changes, they seem so insignificant, but they are so crucial, especially when you're going into something loud and clean.
Yeah.
It's painfully obvious when those things are different. One question that came into my head when you were talking about, things that matter. Where do you sit on rosewood, ebony, maple all have some huge difference in tone? That's a big debate, and I'm curious to what you think.
I own guitars that are all three. Now, to be fair, I don't own like a Telecaster with all three, so it's not a fair comparison.
Right.
I feel like I have, like, so my Esquire is a maple fretboard, and I feel like it has a little bit more snap, but it's not enough for me to just say like, oh yeah, maple's brighter, rosewood's darker. I prefer ebony and rosewood over maple, but it's a feel thing. I don't love the feel of a finished fretboard. And so I prefer those two, but I don't necessarily know that it makes a huge difference in the sound, in my experience.
I feel like if you blindfolded most people, unless you like put your finger through the strings and kind of rubbed in there to see like, oh, what's under these strings? Like, how often can you feel a fingerboard, Oh,
I can. Like, dude, every time I play, like, maybe I'm playing wrong, I don't know, but I feel the fingerboard under my fingers.
I never pay attention to it, and I think that a fingerboard does affect the sound of a neck, because I think your neck has a sound as well. And I know that sounds crazy, but one thing that's funny is when I got my TCS, And I was playing it. I was like, man, the notes are just like jumping out of this thing. I went and saw, I went to a Rev thing here in Nashville, and RJ was there, and Sean Tubbs was there, and Sean was playing it, and he was like, man, the notes are just like singing on this neck. The neck is vibrating so much. And I think the construction makes a big difference, but that could be a variable of just guitar to guitar.
Yeah. So, okay. Sorry. I'm like, so like right now I'm playing this, like this G, for example. And yeah, like I can feel the fretboard under my fingers. And
but could you, if you were blindfolded, could you tell definitively that is a finished maple board?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
100%. Because it's slower. Because like on a vibrato,
but that's the fret. That's not.
No, it's not. It's my finger touching the fingerboard behind the fret. That's what it is.
I must play so much lighter because I
probably do. I have the touch of a blacksmith, and so like this is an ebony board. And
okay,
so,
wait. What's that guitar again?
This, a Vila, Diego Vila.
And you're totally cool with the look of that guitar, but you're gonna give me hell.
Yes, dude, this guitar of what, the Frank Brothers?
Or anything that I like that's weird.
This is cool. This is cool.
I mean,
your
yeah.
whole offset guitar right there. What are you talking about? This isn't much different than a Jazzmaster.
Oh, this is way cooler than that.
Oh, bullshit. This is
you think that is cooler than a Jazzmaster?
Yes, I think this is objectively cooler
high
than
right
a Jazzmaster. No, dude, this is objectively cooler than a Jazzmaster. 100%. And Jazzmaster is a cool guitar. I like guitars, but this and a Revolta and a Novo are all cooler than Jazzmasters. 100%.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're right, you're right, and I am right about this.
It's okay? Like when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Okay, so but yeah, like this ebony board, yeah, I could 100% tell you. Now, if you were saying is that ebony or is that rosewood, I would have to like really feel for the grain of this, because this is a much smoother, tighter grain than a rosewood. But yeah.
Well, and I think ultimately it all matters. Everything matters, and you have to judge each guitar on its own merits. And like, I think the reason so many people get so up in arms about, oh, it's got to be the wood, it's got to be a good guitar, it's got to be expensive or whatever, is because they're just trying to justify things in their own mind or something, or they're arguing that it doesn't matter to justify the fact that maybe their guitar is good enough for them. But ultimately, if it's good enough for you, who cares what it's made out of?
Right. And that's the point that I wanted to get to in this episode, which is twofold. If it sounds good, it is good.
Yeah.
Period. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter what wood it is or who made it or how expensive it was or what kind of finish it has. Like, if it sounds good, it is good. The other thing is, if you like the way it sounds and it makes you happy when you play it, then that's it. It's the right. It doesn't matter what wood it's made of, or if it does it have a nitro finish or a poly finish, what speakers are in that cabinet. Like, at the end of the day, if it's what you like to hear, then that's it. It doesn't matter what you or I say or what some person on the gear page says or in the comment section of a YouTube video. Like, if you think in your head, like, you pick up that guitar and you're like, dude, I'm so glad I got this one because I went to that guitar store and I played all of them, and this was the one because it rang and it has the best wood, it's the lightest one, then dude, that's it. Then yes, the wood matters. The tone wood matters. Now, objectively, if you put it under a microscope, what percentage of a difference does it make in the tone? Who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter. So it's like one of those weird things where it's like it does and it doesn't.
Yeah. In guitars, we have such an emotional connection to it. And ultimately, it all kind of goes back to that joke that Chet Atkins would do, where he'd have his guitar, try to get it where people can see it, and people go, man, that guitar sounds great. Or he would have it in his lap, and he would be playing it, and people would say, man, that guitar sounds great. And then he'd put it down on the stand and say, how's it sound now? It's like, it only matters. It only has anything because you give it something. So,
yeah. And you're getting something from it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the thing, man. We all know how, dude. Like when I picked up that Dan Electro, that little $100 used Dan Electro that I bought last year.
Yeah,
it plays so unbelievably well, and as a result, I sound good on that guitar, and that guitar sounds good. It doesn't matter that it's a cheap whatever knockoff. Well, it's not a knockoff, but a reissue like from overseas. It doesn't matter, dude. It's like it sounds cool and it looks cool, and like I get excited when I play it. My Novo the same way. My Ceres J, like it's probably the heaviest Novo that's ever been made. Matthew and I have talked about this. Oh God, I've got too many offsets in my lap right now. This is one of, if not the heaviest Novos they've ever made. I mean, it's like Les Paul weight, a really good Les Paul weight. I think it's like 8. I don't know. I've never actually weighed it. I would say it's 8.5 pounds, maybe pushing 9 pounds. But this is still to this day, like one of the best sounding and playing guitars I've ever owned.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's all about, it's just about connection. And like, I think maybe to wrap up this conversation,
Tonewood matters. You're all wrong. Don't at me in the chat.
Is there any sort of body material or tone wood or wood that you historically have played and go, I don't like it. I don't like it. Because there is so I have one, but I just don't know. We never talked about this.
Well, and there are some that I haven't really spent time playing, like basswood, for example. I've not really spent a lot of time with basswood.
That's the one I hate.
Yeah, I don't know. I've honestly never really played it, so I can't speak to that one. But I like certain things for certain things. Like for instance, I like swamp ash a lot on Strats and Tellys. I think it's especially like a Telly. I think it fits like this Esquire. I believe this is swamp ash. I mean, you can see the grain through the finish there. And dude, this Esquire slaps. This guitar is so good. I'm actually debating on whether or not I should put a neck pickup in it. It's routed for a neck pickup under there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All the 70th anniversary ones are. It's
going to change it. It'll change.
That's the thing. It's like putting that pickup there will do something to it. But so I like swamp ash for fenders, basically. I like pine. The tempered pine that Novo uses, I think is really good.
Yeah.
But that's because it's dry, it's lightweight, it resonates well. So yeah, what about you? You said basswood. You're not into basswood?
No, I don't like basswood. I've never played one that made me like excited. And I had a basswood. I didn't know this when I bought it. I bought a made in Japan Fiesta Red Strat a few years ago, and it showed up and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I was like, man, it's just like, it's nothing here.
Yeah.
And, I looked it up and it was basswood. And I was like, maybe that's why. And I've played like a lot of like super strats and like shredder strats and stuff from the 70s and 80s or that. And it's just, I don't know. They're just kind of dead to me. But I don't know enough about like what Bodywood's Fender uses, because I feel like when you slap a big thick poly coat of paint on it, it doesn't really matter that much.
You just dip it in plastic, baby, basically. If you've ever seen like watch someone like strip a polyurethane finish off of a guitar and just see how it comes off in sheets like of plastic. Yeah. Ugh, man, that can't be doing anything for the tone.
No. Yeah. I know for a fact from Tom Murphy, who he had a Fiesta Red Strat, and I was like, what on earth is that? And he's like, oh, this is a road worn, because they have poly underneath.
All right.
And he's like, I just stripped it and I just hit it with a heat gun and it went boop and bubbled up and I scraped it off. That guitar ruled after. I mean, the road ones are good.
Yeah.
But after he refinished it, wow, like what a guitar.
Yeah.
So
so strip all your poly guitars, everyone. Go
heat gun.
Go,
putty knife,
heat gun. Have at it. They'll be fine.
Oh man!
If there's any kids listening, maybe go do it to your parents' guitars. Like, go get your dad's guitar. He'll be fine with it. Be like, Dad, I'm fixing this and making it sound better.
Speaking of which, we still have to see that guitar you tried to relic or whatever from back in the day. I want to see it.
Well, it's okay. I have it downstairs. It's one of the ones downstairs. That is like the worst guitar I think I've ever owned.
Yeah.
it's a MIJ Squire Strat from the 80s, which are supposed to be really good. Like, but when I bought it, it was a complete basket case, like not functioning piece of crap. And it's ungodly heavy. It's like an 11-pound Strat, a 10 or 11-pound Strat. Yeah, it's
wow.
Ridiculous. It is ridiculously heavy.
Wow.
And it sounds bad. It just is not good. There's nothing good about that guitar. So right now, I think I painted it like seafoam green. So it's got like a shitty, just solid color on it right now to try and hide my crimes of previous relicking.
Like, does it have paint underneath that paint?
Yeah, so originally it was white poly that I tried to relic. And obviously that didn't go well. So then I painted it black with Guitar Re-Ranch Nitro over the poly, which didn't go well because I just sprayed black on top of the poly and then tried to relic that, which didn't go well. And eventually I sanded most of the black off, sanded as much of the poly off as I could, and then painted it seafoam and just kind of put it away. Man,
we should turn that into a YouTube video, like making that Strat good. Like, can it be saved? And just heat gun and thing, and then Re-Ranch or Stumac sprays.
I would be embarrassed. The thing is, to do that, I would have to get with Dave on Arado.
Yeah.
But I would never hear the end of it from Dave. If I ever showed him that guitar, he for the rest of my life, he would just give me shit. And you know what? I probably deserve it for what I did to it. But like,
dude, no.
I'm talking about, like, I took a screwdriver to it to like gouge out the wood from where like a pick would be. I had no idea doing what I was doing.
But you know what's funny is if it was poly, then there's probably enough paint on there to where, unless you got really into the wood,
I got into it. Yeah, no,
you might be able to steam it out.
No, there was wood removed. There was wood like gone that is not there anymore.
Well, I'm color me curious. I want to see this thing. So.
Oh God. Okay.
But yeah, well, I think we've ended this debate.
Yeah, this is it.
It's over.
Right. Tonewood matters. And if you think it doesn't, then you're just, you don't know anything about guitars.
Yeah,
so
use a bitch.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. I'm totally
going to think we're serious. No, if it matters to you, it matters. If it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
There's so many things that we argue about that really do matter. And this is not
like
one of them.
The fact that this is an amazing looking guitar, and
I don't think it's a bad looking guitar, but I think in a lineup of weird guitar shapes, it does not stand out as the best looking one. So,
how much better does this look than the Frank Brothers, though?
I love the Frank Brothers. I think it looks great. So,
dude, it's
fine. It's fine.
I question so much about you now.
If we've learned anything, it's that we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, it's true. And Frank Brothers getting so much free PR from this debate here.
Good for them.
Good for them. They've earned it.
I've talked to those guys. They are so incredibly nice. So.
I'm sure they're super nice guys, and I'm sure that if I ever meet them or something at NAMM, they're going to give me hell, and rightfully so.
Whack you on the back of the head with a headstock.
It's all right. I'll give it right back. All right. Are we ready for some shills of the week?
I got a good one.
Oh yeah? So do I.
Yeah. Sweet. You want to go first? Okay.
Nope. Go first.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hell yeah.
Can you see what that says?
Jam Custom Shop.
I got a custom shop pedal from Jam.
This
arrived here so remarkably fast. I will show you. So I've been wanting a Univibe. And I don't like the normal Retro Vibes paint job. Mm-hmm. But they posted this.
Bro.
And
that's cool.
It's pretty neat. And it sounds really good.
Yep.
So got a Retro Vibe. And there's some there's some bullshittery going on in this to make it do what it does. Cause I opened it up and I'm like, why is that not this? I wonder what they're doing to get away with that. So I'm curious. And I think I know, but it just sounds great. So I'm really, I think it sounds good. So
I've got the normal retro vibe, the one that doesn't have the fancy paint job on it, like that one does, and it sounds super good. It's really, really nice.
Came in this fancy bag.
Yeah, dude, I love the Jam, like their packaging and stuff on their custom shop.
I see all this stuff and I'm just like, man, what this was really expensive. And then I remember, oh yeah, it was really expensive.
It was really. I know they spent a lot on this because I spent a lot on this pedal. Yeah. Oh man, speaking of spending a lot on pedals, I didn't spend any money on this, so this is a certified shill. But this showed up in the mail. And so by the time this comes out, people have seen me talk about this. I did a live stream about it, posted some Instagrams and stuff about it. Here's the thing. I avoided this pedal for years. It's been out for what, 2 years now, 3 years, something like
that. A while, yeah. What is it?
The Empress Zoya, for listeners out there. And it's not even really fair to call this a guitar pedal, honestly, because that's not really what it is. It's in a pedal format, but this is a full on, basically it's the anti Zach Broyles pedal right here. It is a full on modular synth. It can be a full rig. It can be a cab sim. It can be a synthesizer, like it can be a generative synth. I mean, it can be a 4-track cassette deck tape recorder emulator loop machine. Like, dude, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And I avoided it like the plague because I mean, look at it. It's like intimidating as hell.
Yeah.
But Empress got in touch a few weeks ago and they're like, hey, we're big fans of the channel. Can we send you some stuff? And I've had a Tremolo 2 for years. Tilly bought me an Empress Tremolo 2 for my birthday about 5 years ago. And that's been like, aside from the Flint, my favorite Tremolo pedal ever. And I'm not counting the Lark as a tremolo. It's a different thing. But they were like, can we send you a Zoya? And I was like, I don't know. And they insisted on it. So
sweet.
I've been playing with it and my God, it is a inspiration box. Once you kind of understand the ins and outs of it and how to like make sounds with it and build patches, it's not simple, but it is relatively easy to understand.
Right.
But they shipped it with some special presets on it, like some of their favorite presets. And dude, it's nuts. It is nuts.
Blair at Eastside, because he's those guys are like super into all that stuff, and I was like, I don't what is this? And he like broke it down, and I was just like, the meme of the woman like doing the math equations in her head. It was just me. That's awesome. And I saw you posted a live stream or a video about it, and I had yet to watch it because
I just make a bunch of spaceship sounds with it for an hour and a half. I mean, that's really it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. But it honestly, people are asking like, well, what kind of board does it go on or how would you use it live? And honestly, I don't think this is going to end up on a pedal board. It's like it's something you put on your desktop, you plug some shit into it and you just zone out and you make some sounds with it basically.
Can it affect the guitar or is it just a totally different?
Oh yeah. I mean, you plug your guitar into it. It can be a fuzz. It can be a tremolo. It can be, it has a whole litany of guitar effects, and especially like their time-based stuff, their reverbs and delays are algorithms that come from the other Empress stuff. The delay machine, the reverb, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can just be a guitar pedal if you wanted to. And on my live stream yesterday, I made a patch where I think I did like a delay into a vibrato kind of thing, or a reverb into a vibrato. So
yeah. A little overkill for something like that, but it does work.
Yeah, if you're not interested in like the synthesis possibilities behind it and the modular possibilities behind it, I probably wouldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something that can take you to another dimension, then by all means.
Well, to end the show, we've had a few people asking, Shill's Fuzz updates. I am getting new PCBs this week, so they should be here. And this is the original prototype. This has been a handy little paperweight on my desk. So hopefully we'll be able to get this thing going. I did remove the order switcher because once I found where I liked it, it doesn't need to be moved.
Okay.
And it'll still be independent and it'll still have the little null control. But I think that's what was causing the insane feedback that was making this thing literally sound bad. Yeah. I mean, it sounded cool. I think I should just give you this one.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And it's just go.
Yeah, I want the weird one.
Yeah, well, this one's it. And everyone calling it the shiz. I don't want to call it the shiz. It's getting on my nerves.
It's not the shiz. It's the SH1Z.
I know, but it's funny because like I don't know if you're like this, but when people say something over and over that you don't like, it just makes you like hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, you should really see this movie. You haven't seen this movie? It's like that sort of thing. I'm never going to see it. And it's gotten to the point now where it's like, I am not going to call it that. I will cancel this whole project.
Please don't.
Just to spite all the people who get on my nerves. But I mean, it's fine. I get the
Everyone,
joke. But
shut up. Don't ruin this. Okay. This is your fault. If Zach doesn't make this pedal, this is definitely not anything to do with me. This is 100% your fault. So stop it. Get it together.
Yep.
No. And we're warning you. We will turn this company around.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be. I think about these things all the time. Like, oh, we're gonna make this pedal. Like, do I have to make another website? Like, what are we gonna...
Oh my god, how am I gonna promote that?
So
nice. Well, we do have to actually name it though.
I know, and we will. But speaking of names, maybe this can be the last thing. Universal Audio is releasing a mic that looks like this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you see what it was called?
I watched the video demo of it, but I don't remember the name.
The SD1, which is the name of a Boss pedal that's been around for a long time.
I smell a lawsuit.
You're gonna get one now, and you might be worth a little bit more money because just like the PRS became the HDRX. Because this is the HX50, which Line 6 said, hey, cut it out.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you guys quit that. Yeah, I saw the video of it, and it was like, okay, so they made an SM7, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's what all the comments were saying. Like, oh, I'll just keep my SM7. How much is it? I
don't know. I saw it, and I saw it was white and pretty, and it'll do some integrations with UA stuff, which is cool. But, I mean, I already spent all the money on this. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, honestly, just use your SM7.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Appreciate y'all hanging out. And we'll see you next Monday on Dipped in Tone.
Bye.